Aw, so sad. Too bad. Boo-hoo. Caylee Anthony blocked me on Substack. All because I pointed out how she's sitting there talking about slander, defamation, libel, and all of this, and the presumption of innocence, which is not in our Constitution, by the way. It is a legal principle, a safeguard in the due process to protect the innocent, not the guilty, right? But I noticed how she slanders and libels her brother, her mom, and her dad. What about their rights, Caylee? You can't sit here and say everybody has the rights and then just ignore the fact that you feel so entitled to your own daughter, your own mother, your own father, your own brother, that you can throw them under the bus and lie about them and falsely accuse them and levy allegations against them all day long, when none of them have ever been prosecuted in a civil or criminal law court for any charge at all, for any reason at all. So this whole trying to hide behind the Me Too movement and the LGBTQ community, when you're not even a member of that community, to sit there and say, I'm an ally and all this stuff and use them, that's disgusting. That is disgusting, and that is despicable to do that. Because whatever you're trying to use modern feminism and all of this to try to blur the lines, that is what manipulators do. That's what sociopaths and narcissists do. They try to confuse you with so much word salad that you just become submissive and give up. Because you don't even want to fight it. You don't even want to argue it. You don't even want to debate. You don't even want to hear them speak anymore. You're just like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm no longer going to listen to this. That's what they do. They make you go round and round and round and round and round with the gaslighting. Don't let Caylee Anthony gaslight you. You know the truth. Everybody knows the truth. The truth is fundamentally the truth. She had a 2-year-old daughter, and she is no longer alive. Who was the only person who had custody and had the legal responsibility to keep her alive? Caylee Anthony was. So I just go ahead and I make another account, and I post this. No. It's a due process legal principle or safeguard to protect the innocent. It's not in the Constitution as a right, not you, the guilty. It doesn't protect the guilty. It doesn't. The same way that free speech, an amendment to the Constitution, is an actual part of the rights that we all have. It does not cover lies, liars, threats, defamation, slander, libel, harassment, etc. It protects the truth, truthful opinions, and the right to express it. Liars are not covered. Guilty parties are not included. Nor does it matter what you want to rewrite history as, what you want to convince other people to think. The truth remains forever the truth. The truth is fundamentally what actually happened and what actually occurred. You know what they say? The winners are the people who rewrite history, who write history. But the internet is not written in pencil, it's written in ink, and everybody else gets to have a say too. And society speaks. Society is all the people that are out there in the world living their lives, 330 million American citizens out of 8 billion humans on planet Earth, and one country out of 195 get to say their opinions, their thoughts, their feelings, and their expressions. And they're saying #justice for Caylee. The truth is fundamentally what happened and what actually occurred, not your perception of it, not your word salads going round and round and round of nothing of substance at all. A strategy that sociopaths and narcissists alike use to manipulate people into confusion and submission. The truth will not be deflected by you. Caylee was a 2-year-old baby. She had the basic human right to her life. She had the right to be raised. She had the right to know her own father. She had the right to have a relationship with him. A right that you didn't have the ability to make for her and take from her. Even Andrea Yates, Susan Smith, and Diane Downs were honest enough to admit what they did. You're the only person legally responsible to keep your child alive, and you failed to do that. You are guilty either by your direct hand or by negligence. That's a fact. That's a truth. We all know that. The more you talk, Caylee, the more you expose yourself. You're insecure and fractured inside because you know the truth. And you know we all know it too. You know what you did. You know what you did. We watched the trial. We watched the medical examiner's testimony. And the truth will always prevail. And that is what happened. Because see, where the jury couldn't prove premeditation didn't mean that you're innocent. It just means that they couldn't prove that it was intentionally inflicted. If there was a second charge, even the judge and the jury has spoken out. I've showed clips of it where they said we would have came back 100% guilty on a second-degree negligence charge. But there was no second or third manslaughter or anything like that was not. So without that being attached, they couldn't come back guilty on a second lesser charge. Or for first degree, child neglect, right? So unless you're going to come forward, Casey, and actually tell the truth, there's nothing that you're going to say and nothing that you can do that's going to change anybody's mind. Sad part for you is that the majority of people out here in the real world and society are the same ones that are on social media themselves and have their own accounts. They're extremely intelligent, beautiful, talented, educated, and overall just smarter and better than you. A large majority of people that have social media accounts on Substack and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and everywhere else largely at least graduated high school. But there's a lot of people out here that have an above average IQ. They have a superior IQ. There's lots of people that are like that out in the real world and can deduce, and by the process of elimination, because out of all 8 billion people on this planet, there's only one person that's guilty. We know all these other people didn't do it, but we do know who the guilty person is. And people that misspell Caylee's name are still better victims' rights advocates for Caylee than you will ever be for your own daughter. The difference is that most people out here don't take the life of their own child and then lie about it. You know you're guilty. It's why you tell on yourself, and you always have. Because only the person that's guilty is going to act and behave and speak like a guilty person. Because they're covering for something. The truth is always the truth, and it always remains the same. It prevails. It doesn't change. It doesn't falter. The truth is just the truth. And the fact is, you're incapable of telling the truth because you're hiding something. You're hiding your guilt. And you've always behaved like the guilty party, like a guilty person. And I think that has spoke volumes to everybody who watched the trial, who watched all the jury members who did come forward and have done lots of different interviews. The judge himself has done different interviews. Dr. G, the medical examiner, has done lots of interviews. She's even done a whole entire episode about it. There's been all kinds of things. Even your parents have come forward and spoken. And the fact is, you can't manipulate and control your way around everybody and everything anymore. And that just drives you mad. It just drives you mad that you cannot control everybody and everything. But the fundamental truth is that your daughter was only 2 years old and she's not here anymore. It's not my fault. It's not your dad's fault. It's not your mom's fault or your brother's fault. It's not Caylee's dad's, her real dad's fault. It's not, the person that lives next door to me's fault. It's not my dog's fault. It's not the birds up in the sky's fault. It's not rocket science. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to be able to put together what happened. With all the evidence and forensic evidence and circumstantial evidence, totality combined, you don't have to have all 300 pieces to the 300-piece puzzle to be able to see the picture clearly. The one piece that nobody has is the why. But we don't need it to know that Casey's the one that's guilty. And she's not covered by the presumption of innocence. She was tried. She was convicted. Yeah, they came back not guilty on premeditation. I can't say the other words because, of course, my video will be flagged. But that's just how it is. And so with the double jeopardy laws, people really thought that over time you would come forward and you would be like, yes, this is what really happened. This was an accident. This is what really happened. This is how it happened. And admit your wrongdoing. But like Andrea Yates, Susan Smith, Diane Downs, all people that took the lives of their children or tried to take the lives of their children. Luckily for Diane Downs, she was not able to successfully take the lives of all 3 of her children. However, that's not the point. The point is that even they came forward and when they were caught was honest about it. See, now you think because the jury said you were not guilty that you can convince everybody to rewrite history and that it didn't happen. It did happen. It did happen, and your daughter had the right to her life.